Delighted you're here.
Good to be here.
I'm very anxious to hear about this new series you're going to be doing on Fox Nation called The Pursuit. What is that about?
Well, it's something I've always said, Governor, is that the Constitution does not guarantee us the right to be happy. It guarantees us the right to pursue happiness. And the fact that we're allowed to pursue happiness should inherently make us happy. Think of all the people around the world that woke up today in a country that does not guarantee them the right to pursue happiness. They're just as talented as you are or anybody in this room, but they're not allowed to exhaust their potential. Think of the things we've missed out on. Think of the music we haven't heard. Think of the medical breakthroughs that have never happened. Human beings are human beings. God created each and every one of us and gave us a lot of potential. But in America, we're allowed to exhaust that potential under the right of pursuing happiness. So I'm gonna sit people down who've done incredible things with their lives, who have exercised their right to pursue happiness. We're gonna hear all about their stories and inspire other Americans and people around the world to go after the American dream.
You know somebody I know that certainly fits that bill, somebody who has pursued happiness and made it happen, is a guy, his name is John Rich.
Well, you'd be right. You
seriously,
would be right.
John, I think about your life.
Sure.
A lot of people don't know your background. I mean, you grew up out in West Texas. You didn't grow up rich and connected. Tell us a little about the John Rich that they may not know.
Sure. So my dad's a preacher. My dad's he's one of them fire and brimstone guys. So he never was able to like preach in a big church and have a salary and stuff like that. He's more of a guy that preaches at the prisons.
Yeah.
He went to 32 Mardi Gras in a row and preached on the street in the French Quarter.
And lived to tell about it.
Lived to tell about it, barely. I mean, it was wild. And my dad's whole thing was, hey, that's what I know I'm supposed to do, but I'm gonna make sure that we got plenty to eat, and we might have, a car might have a dent in it, but the car's shiny. You know, you might live in a double wide trailer in Texas, but the yard's cut. My dad did all kinds of jobs. Hard work's never been a problem for us. Matter of fact, there's a lot of integrity that goes along with hard work.
Yes, there is.
I think people that don't work hard don't have as much peace at the end of the day.
I think you're right. Well, you've worked very hard. You've been very successful. Most people know you as a singer, but the songwriter part of John Rich, you've written obviously your own songs that have been incredibly successful, but you've written for the biggest names in the business. You've made them rich because of the songs you've written. Is it more fulfilling to you to write a song and see some other artist make it big with it? Or is it still a great joy when you're able to record that song, it becomes a hit, and the cha-ching goes to the John Rich bank account?
Well, I can tell you, being an artist myself, anytime you record a song and put it out there, buddy, that's a gamble.
Yeah.
Every single time. Because it's either gonna hit or it's not, and it's gonna have direct impact on you. So when another artist will take something that I created and say, this is what I'm betting on, it's the greatest compliment that could ever happen to me. And I've always said songwriting is the ultimate pulling the rabbit out of the hat, because you have a blank sheet of paper. You ever thought about this? A blank sheet of paper is the most boundless thing and potentially powerful thing, opportunity for a person ever. The Constitution of the United States started off with what? Blank sheets of paper. So did the Bible, by the way.
Yeah.
And so do songs, and so do pretty much everything that we base our society on. Starts out with a blank sheet of paper and a human being being inspired to put something on it. And I wanted to ask you a question, by the way. If that's
Ask
okay.
away.
I know it's his show, but can I ask him a question? Okay.
Why not?
Now, this is something that has, I think it's a terrible comment, and I think it's something that this country needs to figure out how to resolve. And that is this. There's an organization called the CMA. We all see the CMA awards. Well, the CMA, you know, does a lot of things for people, and they wanted to have a program where they put music in the hands of kids who otherwise would not have that opportunity, which is a great thing to do.
Great thing.
And they invited you to be on the board, but because people on the CMA board disagreed, some of them, not all of them, but some, disagreed with your political leanings and ideas, they ran you out of town on a rail, didn't they, Governor?
It was, yeah, I think that's a fair way to say it. Yeah.
And let me tell you why that's so disappointing to a country singer. I spent my whole life making country music. You know, music's not supposed to be political. Music is for everybody.
Everybody.
This is what's wrong with our country right now.
Yeah.
We have got to start focusing on what we have in common and let that be a bridge over our differences. And if we don't, this is not going to ever fix itself.
Wow. Well, I appreciate that. And let me tell you something. You're one of the greatest, most creative people alive today. It is an honor to have you here.
Thank you, Governor.
Please come back and be with us again.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
All right, you can keep up with John Rich at bigandrich.com. Follow him on Twitter, which is a lot of fun, at John Rich. And be sure, subscribe to the Fox Nation streaming service, because you're going to want to catch The Pursuit with John Rich coming in February.